Hey, thank you so much for your patience today. We got a phone call right at the starting minute, so we had to take that. We're looking forward to starting. Maybel has been so patient. While you've been waiting, Maybel has also been waiting for her treat. So let me go ahead and give that to her because, if she's not happy, we can't do this. That's really what it comes down to. So Maybel's favorite treat. Frozen cabbage, peanut butter, what we got in here, Maybel? Some sweet potatoes, some salmon, some beef liver. I found some beef liver treats at the back of the cupboard this week, so she's getting a few extras. Lots of peanut butter, and some kibble. And some cat treats, because she loves them. You want some of this? Will you say hi? Okay, whoa. Slow down. Paw? Oh, you're too excited now. Now you're too amped up. Okay, paw. Other paw. Will you roll over? Paw? Okay, here you go. There you go. Take it. All right. I regret touching that, and I regret putting it in my mouth because it was like salmon flavored peanut butter, and that is disgusting. Anyway, so cool. We're starting off today. We're on our way to finishing Skelly. On our way. What's Maybel doing? Is she like, look at her. Do that again, Maybel. That was cute. I don't think I've ever seen you do that. But yeah, let's get to it. This is not the final week, but we're going to be taking a break next week. Usually we take a break. When do we take a break? We usually take a break at the end of a project, but next week I'll be traveling, so there will not be a live Twitch stream next week. So we'll do what we can, and we'll see what happens at the end of this project. Maybe we just start a new one right away. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a quick vacation on top of a little bit of a work trip. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay. Let me switch the screens. Where is my screen? There it is. All right, so we've got Skelly today. And last week, I've also recognized that I haven't been leaving myself notes in the rig telling me where I've left off. So I need to get on that one again. That habit has slipped. But today, yeah, let's work on this. We're going to add a couple more drawings to the mouth because there's a couple elements to this mouth that I haven't accounted for yet. We've got a back row of teeth, so you can see it clearly in this mouth. There is a back row of teeth right here. And then you can see it in a couple other mouth charts. So right here you can see there's a back layer of teeth. And then here you can also see there's a back layer of teeth. For that one, that's gonna be a tough one. I definitely don't want to add too many more individual teeth. I've definitely set myself up to be doing that. So we'll see what we can do. And yeah, I think today is all jaw work. All right, so let's get to it. I am recording. Yes, I am. And let's align this. What I'm also going to show today is, like, when I'm working on something like this that becomes a little overwhelming, how I manage staying organized. That's something that I'm going to go over today, to keep myself on the right track. I think we need to add some deformers to these pieces as well. So we will do that. Okay. All right. So let's get to it. Brett, you've definitely created a very detailed mouth, and I know that you're still working on mouth charts. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. I know that you're still working on mouth charts. You have finalized the mouth charts available soon. Yeah, that's okay. It's actually really common that when you're working in the industry, it's very common that you don't have the entire mouth chart at the time that you're starting to rig something. A lot of times these details come in after. So when you're working in animation, you're always prioritizing the things that are needed the most, the things that are needed right now. So what's more important than a mouth chart? The whole body. The whole rotation. So a lot of times we're actually getting mouth charts a little bit later into production. So sometimes we'll even be doing all the work without having a mouth chart. So it's really common that you're going to be doing some stuff on top of another department. So in this case, it's designs. We'd be rigging on top of the design. So it's basically rigging would be waiting for the designs. Designs would be happening in real time, and rigging, you either have something to do or you don't have something to do. So you're kind of finding a way to make it work. And so what I'm going to do today is basically that. We're trying to figure out a way to make it work. So the mouth charts are not totally done, but we have these mouth charts here. And I know you haven't made like super changes to them, so I can kind of start putting them on, and then we can do the final touches on the last episode for Skelly. Hopefully that'll be the last episode of Skelly. So hopefully we finish it up today, and then we can finish up the mouth comp in the next one. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be too many more episodes left. Maybe 3 if it goes long, but we'll see. I know that I want to add a deformer to some of the pieces, like the jaws. The jaws need a deformer. The cheeks will need a deformer. The eyebrow, I think, still needs a deformer. So there's a couple things that we still have to do. But let's go. Did I add deformers to the eyes? I did. Yeah, last week I did. So yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep working on this. So let's see, where am I going to start? Let's finish up the eyebrow first of all. Let's give this eyebrow a deformer, because we know that's coming. And if I look over here, I definitely want to give this eyebrow something flexible enough that it can do this sinister look right here. So let's bring myself over to the eyebrow. We have our head creases here. So we work a lot with envelope deformers, but in a case like this, we might actually just want to do a regular 3-point I don't know if you can hear Maybel farting next to me, but wow, that's gonna, now that the snow is melted, she's eating dead plants. Her favorite thing to do is eat dead plants. So all those dead plants are coming out of her butt. Alright, so we've got an eyebrow. Let's see what this looks like, if we can get this to be. That is pretty good. All right, so something like that. That looks pretty good. The only thing is, if this eyebrow goes over the hat, we won't be able to have the line show up. That's something that's an exception because we've got the skull cutting the line work. So I don't want to necessarily make an exception. So animation would probably be best to not let the hat, or to make an adjustment to the hat so that it's not coming into contact with the eyebrows in that way. But that's good. All right, let me reset this. Now you'll also notice that the these things right here, the forehead crease, I'm going to double check to see if I have something to grab them. I do. Okay, I might want to make it bigger because I'm not grabbing it. That's not what I wanted. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Let me turn that off. There we go. Just wanted to bring that down so that there's something clickable underneath it because I was grabbing it and I wasn't actually, I was trying to grab it, but I wasn't grabbing in the right spot. So now I am. So now we can give these eyebrows. I'm going to, what tool did I use to move the deformer? Animation tool. So to set the tool, I used the hammer with the envelope option selected. I had to change that. And then to animate, I use the animation tool, which is the transformation tool. So Shift T, and then I also call that the camera tool. So sometimes I'll refer to that as the camera tool, and that'll give you the option to animate it. All right. We could add more, like we could add more points to here. I just don't want to get it to be too glitchy. To have a 5-point deformer in here, it would give it a way to set your point here, 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 and here. But it would also become a lot of deformers in not a lot of space, and so when you're stretching something to be that flexible, it might come off a little bit glitchy. So I didn't add the 5-point deformers. Also didn't want to make it too complicated. I think that it does well with the way that it is set up now. But if you wanted to add 5-point deformers to this, if somebody wanted to animate that way more detailed, it's there. The option is there. Let's see, let's add some forehead creases to these. So we got, I'm just going to add this one through the middle, and I want to see how that's going to function. Okay, I don't like that. Let me move it. This is what we say when this is what I mean when I say we're testing deformers. So okay, so that looks pretty good. Let me see. Let's reset this. And I'm going to add a middle deformer point, just so that it matches the eyebrows a little bit more. Let's see. All right, and so this is where we start to see it might not be the best. You can see that up top the lines right here are breaking. This is something that we want to avoid. This is what I don't want to happen in the eyebrow if I add too many deformer points. This is what I was kind of concerned about. All right, let's see this one. I don't want to add too many, but I do want to make sure that it's flexible enough. I think that would be okay. That would give flexibility to the bottom one, and a little bit of flexibility to the top one, and nothing's breaking, so that might be a really good solution. Starting to come alive. Okay, let's clear these. I'm happy with that. That works. Okay. There must be a certain way of adding deformers. Yeah, we've added deformers. I don't. What do you mean? It doesn't give you the option to move it. You should be able to show your deformers. I have the hotkey set up to M, but that's in your preference. No, keyboard shortcuts. Show deformer, deformation. There we go. Show current deformers. I have this set to M. So I can turn them on and off, hit OK, and you are clicking on and off of the object. But when you have the green deformers, are your deformers green? Because if they are green, you should be able to just grab and manipulate them. You can reset them using this little reset current keyframe value. Do you have have you set the deformers? You have to have the deformers set in order to bring them up. And you've done that with your teeth. So it's the same process. Well, if your deformer's not showing, you might have to grab the actual deformer, although I don't think you do. I think that they show up no matter where you grab. If your deformer's not showing, that sounds like a more interesting problem. But you have deformers on your teeth. Do the deformers on your teeth show up? Because maybe you're grabbing the wrong tool. Okay, what do we got here? The skull. I want to add deformers to the oculars, to the cheekbones. Okay, so if you've got if you can see the deformers on your teeth and you can't see the deformers on your brows, dive into the deformer group, and give me 1 second and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm just trying to set this deformer, these deformer points up. Okay, we got one. All right, so if you go into the eyebrow, so go into your deformer brow, wherever it's not showing up, make sure you have these points, like make sure these are here, these green nodes that say offset, curve, curve 1, they might say curve 2, curve 3, because those are your deformer points. But if there's nothing in here, then you might have to reset or recreate your deformer, which means you just want to delete the box and start over again. Okay, so this one we can see. Sometimes I like to just pull the pieces apart and create the deformers this way. Let's see, how's this gonna work? Okay, that looks good. Actually, that looks really good. Okay, let's do the skull. Oops, not that button, this button. And I will hide. I feel like I should have one more deformer point here, but let's see. I kind of want this one to be a little, it'd be really nice to just grab that far deformer point and just kind of have the back of the head shake a little if you needed it. The deformer node isn't showing being connected on the brow. Like, what do you mean it's not connected? Like, it's not connected here? Like this? It should be set up the same way that the teeth are working, and if you've got your teeth working, I'm not sure why it's not setting up your deformers. It's kind of hard to tell from here. Sorry, Brett. If it's not moving properly, I don't know how to recreate. I've never seen a... I got to go green, but now it's not movable. Is the item that you're trying... Sometimes when you're... let me think. I'm trying to think. Trying to recreate how to get a locked deformer. I'm not sure. You'd have to send me a screenshot of that, because I need to. What I would need to see is your in your deformer. Where are my tool properties? In your deformer things, I would need to see to make sure that your tool properties are set up like this. You can check this now, actually. You can compare to mine your tool properties to make sure that all your rigging tools kind of look like mine. There shouldn't really be, there's no need to show all manipulators or the zones of influence. I've actually never seen this button make any adjustments, so I've never used it. This one right here, automatically create groups. I know this is something that sometimes gets turned off, and then your deformers are created all loosey-goosey. But it should be turned on, so your deformers are created as you go. It's a pretty automatic process. Whoa, Maybel, that was like a... Oh. Okay, well, something's got to be different. So we got to find the one thing that's different. That's the key. Everything up here in my deformer toolbar. Nothing else is set up. What can cause a deformer locked? If it's locked, it might accidentally be not movable. But I don't know how you would have locked. So is it kind of like this? Because I just did it to myself. So does it look like this? You get the big red X, the no-go zone. Which is now acting really weird. Because there we go, I just recreated, I just locked when transform is on. Do you then use a specific tool to then move the deformer? No, the deformer, the transform tool is the tool. That's your animation tool. Like when you're animating, you use the transform tool. Right here. I just locked myself out of the drawing though by accidentally locking it here, and I had to actually go and collapse the whole skull node, the skull peg, and lock and unlock it. So to break the lock that I just created. Usually if you can't use your deformer, there's something disconnected or broken about it, but it's hard to say what that is right now without looking at your scene. Add deformers to the jaw, and let's add to the hat. Okay, so we got this hat hole. All right, so for this shape here, I'm going to use a weighted deformer. So we're going to set up our deformer like normal, but we're going to introduce a new tool, and I don't think I've used a weighted deformer on this show yet. So hat hole, let's say. We got this one. All right, so this is not going to be a great deformer, but it's, let's see how to, set this up. Put this one here. Oh, actually I meant to make this a 4-point, not a 3-point. So let's put this here. Let's put this here. this works. I don't know if that's going to be too much, but the weighted deformer should take care of it. It's a weird shape. Okay, let's see. Let's see what it at least looks like. All right, so we've got this. Now let's bring in our weighted deformer. I always forget which way to put it, but W-E-I-G, no, not a weighted curve. What am I doing? Weight, W-E-I, weighted deformer. All right, so we've got this one right here, and the weighted deformer, the way it works is, we're gonna go from the peg to the weighted deformer, then the deformer to the to this thing right here, and then this goes into here. And so this should work. Let's see. Whoop. Maybe I have this backwards. Okay, hat hole. I don't see anything moving, so maybe I have this backwards. Let me see. The deformer goes to the left. There we go. All right, so what this is going to do is it's going to give us a little bit of our flexibility for our shape, but it's not going to crush the shape. So if I take the weighted deformer out, you're going to see that this shape is not, what is going on with that little node right in the middle? That's new. Let's see, we got this. Let me bring in another one. I don't think that it's going to matter, but all right, so right now when we go to use this deformer, maybe I just need to move the options, like the handles around to better spots. But you can see here it's getting all crunchy on the inside. It's gonna break. Ooh, it's gonna do this. Deformers don't like to compress, so here you go. Like we can make this little popcorn. Obviously that's not what you want when you set up a deformer. So let's try this again. I'm gonna bring in another weighted deformer. The little node in the middle is new. All right, so we've got our deformer that goes to the actual deformer spot, and then you want to add the peg right here. Maybe this is not necessary anymore. Nope, it is. All right, there we go. All right, so now what? Oh, what is going on? Well, I'm definitely going to move these around anyway. Did I just do this again? I just do the wrong direction. All right, sorry. The peg goes into the default weighted deformer node, and then the deformer goes to the left. There we go. There it is. All right, so now we got some good squash and stretch on the inside of that. I didn't have to, that means I don't have to separate that hat hole, which is really nice. I think that I will. I don't like that this is moving this part, but that's somehow in there. So let's adjust this deformer. And before I do that, let's get rid of the deformer information. Here. This is why we always test our deformers. You always want to make sure they look good. All right, here we go. See. Okay. Oh, hello, Ku. Am I saying that right? Ku. Yes, Brett. Thank you for the screenshot. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like you're having a more of a technical problem. Or it'll just be like a specific button, and it'll fix itself. You can also try to save your scene, restart, open your scene again, and try it again. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that's the magical cure. For the last question from KU, what are some of the things on a rig that you'd use a weighted deformer on? Good question. A weighted deformer is something that you would use for compression. So anything that has a lot of detail to it. So like this, I'm kind of pushing it a little bit. This is a weird shape, and I'm trying to figure out how far I should push it. You always want to test. You always want to test it. I don't know why it's moving over here. Usually weighted deformers don't. They don't respond like this. This is more like this one right here. Wait, not this one. This one. This one right here, the freeform mode. When we add this to a rig, usually, and I can show what that looks like. So usually the freeform mode is the one that makes things kind of move and shift around, which isn't what we want here. Yeah, usually the weighted deformer doesn't have this issue, so I'm a bit surprised. I'm not really sure what is. Because yeah, usually it's stable. Usually all the other pieces are stable when one thing is moving around. That's not normally a weighted deformer issue, but the weighted deformer is actually really great. I love it, and I use it a lot more on rigs with immense detail like this. You can kind of cheat a lot more, and it depends on what animation's looking for. A lot of people are not gonna like the look of it. So, and this is when you get into a professional level. This is not, this is a cheat that you can use for any sort of like school film. What else could you use this for? Anything that's going up on YouTube. Like this is, it's really very specific eye is going to notice that this deformer is moving this way. So it's really, if you are working in the industry at a studio and you go to use a weighted deformer for the first time, I would say that it's pretty stable, that I can work in most pipelines that I've seen. I've not encountered. This is actually the first time I've encountered a problem with it, which is funny. But I actually love them, and I use them. If you look at the Vindicators, and is it Ant-Man? Who's the Million Ant-Man? Million Ant-Man. So if you look at Million Ant-Man, the Vindicators 2, on YouTube, Ant-Man looks like he's made out of a whole bunch of can't believe I'm gonna say this online. O. Henry bars. so like every one of his pieces of his body, I've used a weighted deformer on, so that you could have the envelope deformer, but it wouldn't break all the information that's on there, to give you that flexibility and that foreshortening. So if you need an envelope deformer on a piece that has a bunch of details that you don't want to separate, I mean, there's always a way to get around it. We could put this inside whole on a new layer, give it its own envelope deformer, so that when you animate the one, you'd have to go in and animate the second one, but that's twice the amount of work. So this is really the easiest way. It's a really good cheat, and again, it's not normally acting this way, so it might just be the new version of Harmony. Maybe there's an update that I don't know, because I really like the weighted deformer, and it's really good. It's pronounced. I am dyslexic, so I'm gonna give this a shot. Kia. Definitely be using it in the future. Yeah, I do like them. I do like weighted deformers, but am I saying your name right? Kia. a really cool name. Okay, let's see. All right, let's put this back and let's add our other deformers. I'm gonna leave this piece without a deformer. I don't think it really needs it. Or maybe if I do, I'll just add like a little, I don't actually think it needs it, actually. It's so small. Let's do this piece. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. And add a deformer. So this one, let's see. I'm gonna add, oh, which deformer am I adding here? I don't want this. I don't want this. I want this. There we go. All right, let's do the point at the top and let's see what this looks like. This is, sometimes you can get away with an envelope deformer having some details. So like this one, we've got all these tears at the bottom. So I'm gonna pretend those tears are not there. I'm gonna see what this looks like. And let's see. It's really about just seeing what works. So sometimes you're gonna be able to get away with a little bit more. This is kind of working. It's kind of crunching right in the corner here. It's not too bad, but if I can, let's see if I can. Let's see if I can make it better or worse. I mean, it's not too bad. Let's try one more. One more location. Probably like where it was first. So I will put that there. The K is just the sound before the I. I'm not completely sure the way to type it for them. But the K isn't silent? Because my last name, the K is silent, and I always get people mispronouncing my last name. I don't really, try not to, it doesn't really bother me, but it's happened my whole life. So, but, you know, you can spell knowledge, or you can say knowledge. You can't say Knoller. But is the K silent? Or I don't understand what the sound would be. Ka, kai, K, kai, kaya, kaya. Is it kaya? This is. Okay, let's see. Is that better? It's still a little crunchy, but it's really the best we're gonna get. Kaya. Okay, cool. Excellent. The third or fourth time's always the try. My screen name for Lindsay, that's actually when I was traveling, it's the mispronunciation of my name. So that's how people would say my name. Couldn't say Lindsay. So I'd get Lindsay, and that's where that comes from. Reset. What? Reset. Reset. There we go. All right, so we got deformers there, we got deformers there. All right, now we're getting into this jaw. Now we are going back to the teeth. The skelly is totally done, minus the jaw. All right, so let's jump back here. Let's bring back the mouth chart, deactivate, and let's try not to get confused. Kaya, where are you joining us from? Are you a student, or are you in the industry? Are you in Canada? Are you somewhere else? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Thanks for joining. Whoop, I didn't mean to open that. All right. One of the things that I mentioned is, like, when I'm looking at something like this and you have all these details, the best way to do something like this, one, is to isolate what it is that you're working on. So maybe this is too much information showing up at once. And now that I've said that I think that I'm done the deformers, I don't think the nose has deformers. So I'll probably have to go in and do some nose recon here. But until then, I'm also going to just focus on the top jaw for now. And so I'm going to deactivate the bottom jaw. So we got the top jaw. Let's deactivate the bottom jaw. And then that way it just kind of clears out a little bit of what's going on. So now I can just focus on these top teeth. So I can really get in there. Now this tooth is really supposed to be this tooth. This tooth right here. So if I wanted to, we could try this. Oh, and before I do this, actually, what am I doing? I'm on the wrong keyframe. Let me. I want this. Copy. I'm gonna put this here. Control V. All right. So I'm gonna do this, and here I'm gonna just do all, and I'm gonna hit reset, and I'm gonna take these two teeth, I'm gonna reset the deformers. There we go. Yeah, so here, actually I'm gonna, yeah, there we go. And now I'm gonna take this one, I'm gonna go copy, and I'm gonna bring it to the first frame. Just to save, just to have like a little bit of a duplicate, but just to go from the one tooth to the other. So here I can see, I don't want the root of my teeth to be moving too much, but I can move them a little. So I'm going to start popping these ones. Okay, so I know that with the hand-drawn look, we want to have a little bit of, we don't want to have a ton of popping, but we want a little bit. Oh my gosh, Maybel, what was that? Did you hear that? That would have been audible. This is my life. Maybel just farting all day long. The plants, though, she's really. I know it's a sign of like upset stomach, but she is a sick dog. So I think she's always got a perpetual upset stomach, and she has been eating grass and vegetation her whole life. This is like her favorite thing to do outside of snow. So student from UVU in Utah. Very cool. Learning Toon Boom for a little over a year, mostly from Matt Watts. Awesome. Yeah, I've met Matt. Who is our instructor here. Awesome, that's wonderful. Yeah, he's a wonderful dude. I met him in California. He introduced himself to me while I was doing a conference for, what conference was I at? The big one. CTN. I was at CTN, and I met him there, and then we worked a little bit at Toon Boom. Actually, we worked together a little bit. So while I was at Toon Boom, he was one of the last people that I worked with there. So he's a nice guy, yeah. Awesome. He must be a great instructor. He's very lively and energetic, and he's very technical. He's very, very well knowledged. Yeah, definitely. You're definitely getting some grade A teaching from Matt Watts. Yeah, it's a small industry. It's a very small industry. All right, so back and forth. We're going to be doing a lot of jumping. Okay, so I got this tooth, I've got this tooth, I've got this tooth. So my goal here of what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to create the shapes that I needed. So here I've got this tooth. And I'm just popping between the poses, trying to get that look that you want, Brett. And There we go. Trying to figure out how far to push these things. Make sure that they are connected. And kind of connected in the same spot. You don't want everything to be popping around too much. That's what I'm trying to prevent, but it's going to be a lot of work. Okay. Very cool. Are you rigging anything right now, Kaya? Are you working on anything in particular? Okay, where is this tooth? This tooth is here. And this tooth is here. We're going to have some Z depthing here. Okay, so we got okay, trying not to pay attention to the actual design on the first, because this design is not this design. Like, one second, let me turn this off. Let me turn this on. Let me turn this off. There we go. All right, there we go. Now the teeth are actually going to pop into the right spot. All right, that's what I want. All right, so all I did there was I adjusted the drawing. So instead of deactivating the skeleton mouth, what I did was I brought it back, and I basically just set up these drawings here so that the teeth disappear for the normal drawing. So that would be the mouth. The mouth comp doesn't need to be shown with the normal design. And then when we get into the teeth, the skeleton drawing disappears, but the teeth come back. And I had that set up so that it was here. I had it here, but it was out of place and it was popping, so it was getting me confused. So I just wanted to turn it off so I can focus on the right thing at the right time. The other trick that sometimes I'll do is if I'm getting really confused, and this might be a little bit too much, but I do a drawing, add and close, and I'll just hook that right up to the mouth, and I can call this sketches. And sometimes I'll actually like draw something specifically telling me what I've done. So SKETCH sketches. So here I've got just a drawing that's on top, and so it's kind of like a good way to, if I hide Skelly, I can say, all right, I've done, let me pick a color. Sometimes this makes it better or worse, so depending. So okay, I've done this tooth, I've done this tooth, I've done this tooth. Now let's bring Skelly back, and now I can focus on this one, and it just kind of helps me put it in perspective in a bigger picture so that I know I've got these teeth and I'm not, it kind of like tells my eyes to stop looking over here. This is done. It just kind of helps. So that's how I kind of navigate that one. All right, so the teeth come up. The teeth come up pretty high. This is a wide one. I don't know if it would pop too much if I actually tried to get the the cap shape, but we can try. And I'm gonna bring this one above. And to make it sharp like that, we can just break the handles. Personal rig that's supposed to be a caricature of myself that I'm slowly working on. Very cool. I had to do that back in school. You also recently half-rigged a pudgy looking unicorn, which was fun. Awesome. I'm always up for pudgy unicorns, and pudgy horses in general, and pudgy animals in general, I guess. My dog's pudgy, but it's because she's old. And she can't exercise the way she used to. Very cool. If the tooth changes position in the drawing, that's not the best for rigging. Well, it's like okay, so that's animation in general. You'll have like the things can move. Things will always move. But what it is that what we want to do is we want to try to prevent things from popping out of place, because that's like the difference between smooth animation, like Disney doesn't have very much popping. That's why Disney looks so flowy the way that it is. And then let's say when you compare it to Gumball, Gumball's a great example for poppy animation, because they just pop into place, like there's nothing moving, and then they move, and then they move, and then there's nothing happening. So that's kind of the difference. So what we want to do first of all, this is not a typical rig, so there's that. And then second of all, for traditional animation, that's what I'm thinking about. Like, I'm trying to keep it somewhat so that it's not the teeth, because you don't want the teeth to be, it's hard to describe, because one, these teeth are not totally done. Two, we don't have like a GIF. We haven't created a video of like these teeth in action, because I don't have the whole head. I mean, we kind of do now. So let's see, what can I do? How can I do this? Let's do this. Let's do, like, if I wanted to deactivate, let's say this. Let's do this. Let's see if this will work. Let's deactivate these top teeth and this top jaw. And then we're kind of left with this. It's kind of hard to tell though, especially you got this line here. Let's bring the bottom jaw back. Let's see what that looks like. Activate. Let's get rid of the teeth themselves. Let's do this. This is a bit weird. It's hard to like, when you're animating and you have a animation disc, and the light table, right? Everything is pinned in location. So that's the whole point about flipping. So even when you're flipping, what do I have on here? Even when you're flipping Post-it note, everything is like in place, and the goal is to, when you animate and when you draw your images on the corner, you're kind of stacking your images on top of each other. That's the multiplaning effect, right? So animation is always based around this concept, and so certain things have to stay in certain places. And so when they're kind of moving around too much, the eye catches it, and it's like a focal point, but it's like a distraction focal point, so it's not really a good thing. So the goal when you're animating is to, like, you want to see how these things are moving. That's why animators are always flipping papers. When you watch the old films, they're basically seeing, like, how are these images going to, like, flap with each other. I don't know. I'm not explaining this well. I feel like I don't have words right now. And so that's what we kind of want the mouth to do. So we want the teeth to, like, come alive, and we want the teeth to, like, to pop into these locations, but we also want them to do that in a way that is going to make the character look alive, not that the teeth are just kind of moving around the mouth, because that's not going to be readable. You want your animation to be readable. That's the goal, and that's the trick. That's the skill. That's the practice. So that's why I'm trying to like keep the roots of the teeth in a kind of cemented in the location, so you still get the effect, but we're not getting teeth popping around. No, I get what you mean. The way they can look can be blending as much. Yeah, you want, and then yeah, it's literally called the blend shape in 3D. So, when you do a mouth comp, you're literally blending the shapes. So you would model all the shapes separately, and then you would blend them. And so that's kind of what we're doing here. It's not, we don't call these blend shapes though. But when you animate and we create the tweens, we can put a master controller on these teeth so that as you slide the scroller, they're kind of the teeth are all coming alive and they're doing this thing. So I'm trying to do my best to keep that, but I also don't want the teeth to be like growing and shrinking, because that could be pretty distracting. So I'm trying to find a happy medium, and we're going to it's gonna take a couple tries. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, because this tooth right here, see it pops from here to here. So I don't actually, like, it's tough because I can't see the skull, and I know that your whole jaw is manipulating, and I can keep it, I'll keep it true. Let's try to keep it true. Let's see. Let's see. Kaya, what I wanted to know with your character rig, are you going to be animating it? Do you have, this is something that I had to do in college, was we had to create our own little rigs of ourselves, but then we had to walk on stage and then tell a joke. So that was our animation assignment for our personal rigs. So just wondering if you had one of those. Alright, so I don't think I added a deformer to the bottom jaw, but I'm going to have to, because the bottom, or this top jaw, we definitely want to have it expand, and it might be too small to get what I'm trying to do there, but who knows, we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so we got our teeth. Yeah, you can see, because here, Brett, you can see how long this tooth is here, and then in this pose, it's like half the size. So that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to all of a sudden take this tooth and make it that big. It also kind of goes up the nose. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. Kind of still did it. All right, there we go. So there we go. All right, we got all these teeth. All right, that's good. All right, so we got the top teeth done. All right, one thing that I want to do is add a deformer to the jaw. Let's do that now. Let's do both the jaws now. Let's bring it out here so I can see the whole thing. This section right here is, I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this, because it does grow, kind of. Let's see. Yeah, 1 second. I can. Let me do this first, though. Okay, how do I do this? Let's hide the root up in the cranium. Let's put a deformer here. Let's put a deformer here. Let's see what this does. It's always better to go go bigger than to go smaller, so this is going to be, hopefully it's not too crunchy. Let's see this in action. All right, so is this gonna work? I don't hate this. I don't hate this. That works. Okay, that works. That works good. Okay, so that jab bone is good. Let's reset this. So it goes from here to here. So let's say it gets bigger. Like that. And then we bring the teeth back, and you wanted to see the difference between the two. So let's do this. All right, so I'm going to save this keyframe. I'm just going to copy and paste it over here so I can get back to it really quickly. All right, so let's put this here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tween so you can see the difference. All right, so let's make this smaller. Let's do this true to size. So we got the the one thing that you could be doing, Brett, is if you were designing these in Harmony, you could actually be flipping through and creating your drawings and creating little mini movies of your mouth comps. Instead of going back and forth between different programs, because I think you're doing this in Photoshop, but you could do this in Harmony very easily. Just by using a drawing layer and drawing all the drawings, essentially. All right, let's see. There we go. All right, so one more. We can break it. No, that didn't break it. Break it. I'm doing this with my mouse for whatever reason. All right, so there we go. That's your teeth, and let me hide the So let's create a keyframe or a motion keyframe. And so this is your, see how your teeth are kind of, they're like shriveling up into the skull instead of flaring out. So let me bring this one over here. And so mine are kind of still doing it as well. But I kind of like the way that you can see that I like the way that the teeth at the base are kind of rooting. So that's what I'm trying to the other one. That's what I'm trying to show you. Yep. But there's no animation on the bottom jaw yet. Like there's no. One. So I would like if it was me, I would probably put a little more emphasis on keeping the teeth rooted where they are. Like, so this one, I don't like that this one's coming up too far. I know that I was talking about trying to mimic that like wolf tooth that the character has. That's why I did that. But it just makes the whole tooth look like it's going up into the head. I don't think that's what you're looking for. What do you think? Okay, and we are doing a TikTok dance a while ago that I definitely want to clean up, but having it go on stage and telling a joke is an excellent idea. I might do that too, to be honest. Yeah, take it, steal it. It's it's not even my idea. A little stand-up joke. I don't even remember the joke that I took or that I spoke. I do remember though, my favorite joke came out of that exercise, and a friend of mine from college. I mean, I haven't seen this person in a couple of years. I think we run into each other at OAF every once in a while, but he's a supervisor at Copernicus Studios now. Actually, saw that he's going to be at Taffy this weekend, so I'll see him for the first time since before the pandemic. But his character told my favorite joke of all time, and it's what do you call a one-eyed dinosaur? Do you think he saw us? Okay, sorry. Bad joke. It's a bad joke, but it's also my favorite. So be gentle. Okay, so well, I figured since the character is grinding the teeth, that is why the bottom jaw is forcing the top teeth to shrink. It's hard to tell because I can't see hang on. Is that what's happening am I not looking at the bigger picture? One second. Let me bring this back. That is true. That is true. That is true. I don't know. Let's finish it. Let me just finish it. Let me just do it. And we'll see. It's breaking a lot of like the I'm not gonna say they're basic rules. They're breaking some rules, but I think when you're getting into facial animation, you just want to make sure that it's coming off clear in every tooth. So let's see what it looks like, because I see what you're saying, but it's going into the nose, so that's a lot of information that's like right there. So as long as it reads well, then it works. So let me see. Let's get into the top teeth. Okay, I'll leave this keyframe here. I'm gonna not let this one grow so much though, because that one's it's not doing any favors here. There we go. All right, let's see your bottom jaw. All right, so in this case, what I would do when you're animating this one, because now we got the jaw as a hinge, so I want to make sure that I bring these teeth up before I start animating the bottom teeth. And I also want to add a jaw deformer, so I'm gonna just really quickly I want to deactivate these, but I also yeah, let's just deactivate the whole thing. Okay, all right, let's do this jaw, and let's deactivate some of these teeth. Actually, let's just pull it aside. All right, so this is the jaw shape. Let's add a deformer here. All right, so let's take a look at this. This is a good, the bottom jaw is a really good example of like to kind of look forward to see where we have to put our deformer points. So let's say right here, I don't know what you'd call this, the actual chin, it looks like it spreads and shrinks. So we want to make sure that we have the 2 deformers there to do that. And this one, it gets pretty extreme. I think that's the last one. So let's add these deformer points. Oh, the punch. Oh, that's funny. What do you call a one-eyed dinosaur? Do you think he saw us? It's so bad. Perhaps I overexpressed at this character for the rig. However, I like, yeah, no, and you are, yeah, you definitely, yeah, you, Brett, you want to aim for the middle of what you're saying. That's like, you are right, you are thinking exactly the way that you want to be thinking for this kind of animation. You want the expressions. You just want to make sure that, like, when things are going from pose to pose, that they're readable. So there's something in between. There's a middle ground. So they are working together as a team. They're not individual drawings. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Thank you. I appreciate the 10 out of 10. Yeah, and that's the thing. So like you want, and I'm not a classical animator, so I'm not the person, I am not a person to be asking these. I should not be the person giving animation advice for traditional hand-drawn animation. But you want to be expressive. You want those poses to read, but you want them to also be working together as a mouth comp. And so that's why I was asking for the pictures with the skull, because when I have the skull, I know how the jaw's registered to the face and I can see the whole thing in action. Here, I'm looking at the jaws individually and you made them, so they're not my brain, right? So I'm trying to interpret your artwork, which is basically animation. We're always trying to interpret somebody else's vision, right? So the person with the vision has to be clear, and the person who's making the vision has to understand the vision. Otherwise, the vision becomes somebody else's vision. So I'm trying really hard not to make your vision my vision. And we're coming at it from two very different mediums, right? I'm coming at it from cutout. You're coming at it with from a passion of traditional, and I'm trying to find a happy ground where I can say, okay, let's turn this mouth into a very alive mouth. Yeah, so you're not wrong. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just there just probably needs to be a little bit more work. But that's also just practice. Like that's just practice. So wait, let me finish this jaw. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna do something a little bit shorter to cheat this. And so I'm just putting the envelope deformer on the inside. I might regret this, but let's see. The reason why I'm putting it on the inside here, and I'm taking a little bit of a shortcut, is because it will give us the flexibility that we want without the actual without the details. So like I'll show you what that means. Let's see, and like we'll test it again. Taking shortcuts like this, you always want to test. Oh, that's not, I didn't want to add in the point. Here, this one, this isn't going to give us, like we're not going to be able to round the corners, but we're going to be able to move the jaw. So, and the fact that the deformers are on the inside are going to allow for this little detail like this to be seen. So this is kind of a shortcut that we used to take before the weighted deformer when we had to add stuff to a drawing. So we're going to be able to get some flexibility here, and it actually works pretty well. I just want to make sure that it's not crunching the corners. This one actually looks pretty good. You can kind of get a lot of flexibility out of that. But the goal here is to really stretch the corners without breaking the corners, and I think that's really good. And so yeah, when you bring your deformer to the inside of the shapes, you can get a little bit more flexibility like that. Because if you remember, I was showing with the hat, when you don't have the weighted deformer, your information just condenses and crunches. So if your information's on the inside of your deformer, it's going to condense and it's going to crunch. But if it's on the outside, you got a little bit of wiggle room. So that's a little bit of a trick right there. All right, so we got our jaw. Let's put the jaw back. Deactivate, reactivate, reset. All right, so now we can actually see the bottom jaw closing. And I'm just going to bring this in. And now we can do our bottom teeth. So I feel like this tooth here moves. I feel like this tooth is this tooth. Okay, so this tooth goes here. This tooth goes there. Where does this tooth go? Okay. This tooth's getting really small. So okay, I'm gonna do the direct translation so you can see it. Okay, then this tooth will go here. This is where the teeth start to change. This tooth looks like it actually goes like this. So let's bring this tooth's got to be doing something. All right, so we got this tooth. This tooth becomes this tooth. This tooth becomes this tooth. I feel like there's more teeth here. What is this tooth supposed to be this tooth? Did I put this tooth in the wrong spot? That's a big jump. Okay, from here to here to here to here. One tooth at the right would be hidden for that pose. Both teeth on the left would be the same. Both teeth on the left would be the same. Both teeth on the left. You're talking about this one and this one. This one can't be the same because this one is this one. But this one could be this one. This tooth is crunched. I can go like this. This one comes forward. these teeth really grow. Oops. And and the nice thing that we could do also, because we have, oh no, we can't. Never mind. I take it back. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so we'll cut that one in half because it's the best we can do. All right, so now, let me hide. Deactivate. I would still say that this one right here is pushed a little too far. And obviously when it's animating, you would want the bottom teeth, like it's like the timing is a bit off because your bottom jaw has to hit the top teeth before it can move, but I'm not gonna, we're not animating it like that right now, but yeah. That bottom jaw deformer, actually, this one right here actually works really well. I was really hoping that that would work. You can hide teeth as the mouth changes. I kind of did it towards the back, but this tooth here gets too big. You can definitely hide teeth. Like you just slide it back here like this. That's what I would have done, but it doesn't actually disappear. So this would be. So I don't know. I think that you should probably keep these back 3 teeth to be similar to. So this is what would happen if you were to give a pose sheet where there was any question and there was no time and the work had to be done. If the person didn't think to stop and ask, or if the person knew that asking the answer might come in a week, because that's a very common thing to happen with if a question has to go back to a department, it might take a week for the answer to come forward. So people on the floor will know whether it's a good enough question to go back and ask, or if it's like, can I solve this now? Because everybody wants to solve the problem now so that it prevents the work going backwards, because you want the work to go forward, right, in a pipeline. But you also want that vision, like that true vision. So if this was a main character, let's say this was a main character of a show, then the question would probably be, is this going to go back to the director? If there's a question, then yes, the answer would be yes. But if this was not a main character and this was something that was happening and there was the person wanted to get the work done, then they might just go ahead and do the work and just pass it on and see if anybody even notices. So that's another thing. When you have 50 people working on one show, it's really hard to tell what's you kind of gotta like the control kind of gets taken away. So I think that these back teeth should probably shouldn't move too much. Let's see. I'm trying to do my best by by your design, Brett. Let me flip this down. These the back teeth here probably shouldn't be growing. Like what's going to happen are people going to default to the original pose. So they're going to take what they see in the main pose and they're going to try to place it on the rest of the character. Let's see, we'll let this one activate. Because there would be a way to be somewhere in the middle. And that's what everybody's going to be looking for. Alright, so I'm going to take these 3 teeth and I'm going to, I want to reset. I want to see what it looks like when they stay in place. So I'm going to reset them. Oh, I hear you, Maybel. I'm going to put them there. That's this. Because you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see, but they're moving a lot. Let me see, let me bring this in. So here, you're still getting the crunch, but they're not, it's like the roots are not moving. Do you see that? So that is a little bit more of a natural, it's like still keeping the idea of what you're doing, but it's a little bit more of a natural state. I don't know if that's, because you can still have the teeth come in and like do the thing, but I still want to try to keep the roots somewhat. Copy. View? Is that gonna? That's not what I wanted. Let's see. So like instead of this one right here, this line right here is going to make a big difference. If we keep that. There we don't have, I am going to have to let Maybel out and take a quick break, but then we don't have, you want the action, you've got the action, but I don't know if you want the sliding. You kind of, I think that you're going to have a much more, let me turn this on. Okay. Well, I don't have to keep what I'm doing here. I don't have to keep it. Okay, let me know what you want in the comments, and I'm going to be right back and let Maybel out, because she's wants out. One sec.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Okay, what's that? Okay. Okay. What would you like me to do, Brett? Because it's two very different systems, but I gotta pick one and I gotta stick to it. So that's the. What would you like me to do? You can change them as I'd like. It still looks fine enough. If I had my druthers, if I had my others, I'd keep some things close to the artwork, even when those things are contorting and changing. Oh, you just had dinner. I just gave you your dinner. Can you see her? She does this thing. Can you see her face? No, you can't. You're just looking at, you can see her butt. She literally does this thing where she looks at the treat jar. You just want treats. You just want treats. She knows where they're kept. Okay, you want this? I'm gonna put it with Sharky. Okay, over there in the shark tank. Go ahead, good girl. Gosh, she's so gosh darn cute. Okay. I can change them as I'd like. Well, I feel guilty changing them because they're yours. It's yours. So I want to, so difficult. I want to give you the flexibility that you want. I think for me, what I would say is I just want to make sure that the teeth that are front and center don't touch the nose. Because we're not really animating the nose up either. Like we're not going to be going to, but that's what you would want to do, right? Like that's where you're gonna make it. Like if everything, this is turning into like a real animation project, but like if we were doing that, it would make a little bit more sense. But since we're not going through and animating everything, I think for me, what I would say is important is that the teeth in the front are just not touching the lines in the nose, because we call those tangents. There's actually a name for it, and it's basically too much detail in one spot where it's overall it's too much to look at. So for me, the nose and the front teeth are the tangents. So I'm gonna pay attention to that, and that one I think to me is important, but I still want your vision to like be it. So, or to do my best. So let's say I kind of wish I saved this bottom teeth now, but let's go back. Let's bring this mouth up, and let's find that happy middle of the teeth growing and shrinking. So if they're gonna grow, they should all kind of grow around it. But these teeth are doubling in size. Tripling in size. All right. Tooth. You know, where's this tooth go? This tooth's up here. Okay, this is a learning process for me with rigging to see. Oh, for sure, absolutely. It's a learning process for me too. If you don't think I'm sitting over here learning a whole bunch, you are wrong. All right, so let's see. All right, so there we got this tooth. All right, so let's go to the next mouth shape. Accidentally turn that off. All right, so now again, same thing. I'm gonna keep this in mind. I'm gonna hide that bottom jaw. It's just way easier to, there's a lot of teeth in this, so let's focus on the one at a time. And what I might actually do is just do the top teeth for the jaw, and then I'll just do the top teeth for a couple to get them working. Okay, this one. Ooh, this is what is worrying me here. We got this tooth here. These two teeth are gonna slide over this way. Okay, maybe what I'll do, let's just do this. Okay. And here you can see my tooth is compressed too much, so that's like the downside of an envelope deformer. There are ways to get around it, but most of the time it's just being a little extra gentle with your deformer and not pushing them so hard. Okay, we're gonna see what this looks like. Okay. So when you're getting into animating stuff like this, because this is animating, what we're doing right now is animating. We're no longer rigging. Like this is a really important step, and this is where, like when you get into stuff like this is where master controllers really come in handy. And like, by no means is this rig not viable for a studio somewhere out there. And I don't mean like they're gonna go and take your rig and put it in a show. I mean like the style and the detail that we're rigging here is a professional quality somewhere out there. There are places that rig like this. So the thing that you want to do when you're rigging like this is you want to be really careful of how you're moving everything. So right now I'm using the deformers mostly. I'm also kind of moving my pegs around, which might get me into some trouble because I'm kind of mixing the two right now. A lot of times what'll happen is what do you call it? People won't use they'll stick to one or the other. So they'll probably always use the deformers because that's a little bit easier because that's what you're looking at. Or they'll just use the pegs, but when you're using the deformers, it doesn't make any sense. So they'll pretty much just use the deformers to get the shape that they're looking for, and just use the pegs there for Z depth, which is what what just happened? Let's see, where am I? B, send these back, can't see. Yeah, and no, Brett, your mouth comp is like incredible. But it's like when you have them over top of each other, that's the skill, and that's just gonna take time and like practice. And when I am done this mouth comp, I do want to show you the other way that you can do this, because you don't have to rig this to get it to look like this. And as I mentioned, if you wanted to, you could be practicing drawing these in Harmony. Okay, what is this tooth here? What is going on here? Oh, these teeth all disappear. Okay. Activate. Alright, I'm gonna try to get this shape, but I'm gonna squash these teeth. Because they gotta go somewhere. They can't just disappear. So I'm gonna put these two together. Okay, and I still got a break and see I got a broken. I got a couple broken teeth here, so we don't want that. So let's see if we can. sure that we're not breaking our jaw too much. Here we go. This one can kind of probably go a little further. What'd I do? Oh, I didn't set my pegs. Okay. It's the other, one of the things you want to remember. Always set your pegs. Always set your keyframes. All right. Okay. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, let's set keyframe. Whoops. 6. I gotta go back here and fix these. How did that happen? Okay, alright. Will studios mix a lot of different deformers on the same rig? Yes, studios will put deformers on almost everything. Deformers are very standard at this point. Yeah. Good question. Alright, so I'm gonna stick with my top jaw and go a little further. Why are these not showing? Da, 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 da. There we go. Okay. There's a sneaky tooth over here. This one's gonna be hard because we don't have a upper lip to cover the teeth. All right, let's see. Let's see. This character in this pose gives me a very like Jim Carrey in The Mask vibe, I think. Have we said this already? I feel like you were telling, I feel like you've mentioned The Mask. Comics. Okay, and I'm gonna pull this tooth in front. But the teeth are great because they're pretty flexible. I can do a lot with them. That's kind of nice. Okay. This tooth is way off its pivot point, so it's something that I kind of don't want. Okay, there we go. Alright, so then we've got these two teeth. Come on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide these teeth. I'm going to bring this jaw in. Okay, this one will go somewhere in the middle. Okay, all right. That looks good. I think that looks good. We hide this. And we've got a couple of these thick and thin lines. I'm trying to hide this as much as possible. It's coming from here. Sometimes it's avoidable, sometimes it's not. And I want to change the line thickness on this layer. So here, this line is a little too thin. So I'm actually going to make it a little bit, it's also oddly squished. That should help with some of the what we could also do to fix that is to actually cut the teeth by the like same way that we do it with the arm. So your lower arm is connected to your hand and your upper arm. Your teeth, so like this tooth is connected by this tooth and this tooth, and you would do that for like the teeth that are kind of giving you the hassle. You would want to go in and connect the tooth that's connecting it and create another cross network. So you'd basically take the, again, if we're using this tooth right here as an example, I would take the auto patch from this tooth and connect it to the cutter mask for this tooth, and then I'd take the auto patch for this tooth and cut it here, cut the mask for this tooth, and that would take care of a lot of that problem as well. So that we wouldn't have that thick and thin line. comics, I feel the character takes on some of that look and style, kind of an amalgamation of sorts of things. Of course, when I draw a couple of the expressions, they didn't quite read well enough unless I gave the character a lip. That pose, for instance, yes, I can see that. We just don't have a lip in the rig, so I gotta figure out how to get that pose. Hide that one. All right, so let's go to the next one. Actually, I should be wrapping up. All right, let's do okay, we got this tooth, we got this tooth. Let's do the bottom. I'll do the bottom teeth. Deactivate. Let's do this one. This is the tough jaw. This is the tough jaw. All right, we've got our jaw here. We want to make sure it's connected in the right spot. So pivot points first. I think that's probably still in an okay spot. We'll just use the deformers to bring it into place. This is the pose where you start to see the back teeth too. We don't have that space in the network. All right, so let's do the jaw first. Let's get that kind of out of the way. So we'll use the deformer to quickly position it where we need it. Then let's do these teeth. All right. This tooth first. It's connecting down here. I want to finish this one if I can. This is probably an ambitious one to finish. I should probably wrap it up. I'm probably doing that thing where I'm not paying attention to the time. Let's see. Wait a minute, we got we're missing a tooth here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I can't put that one too far over there. I'm gonna have to put 2 teeth here, Brett. So something more like this. Let's put that deformer back. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's do, for this tooth, let's do this. Instead of doing instead of doing one big tooth, we'll see if we can make that one tooth out of two teeth, like that same shape, but that way, because that's a tough one to hide. Like, it's, we could probably hide the back teeth. We can hide the back teeth a lot easier than the front teeth, but the front teeth have to stay on model, or the character has to stay on model. So though, like, a tooth can't just disappear. We have to see it. Like, we have to like visually see it disappear. Our brains are too smart. Our brains are too smart. They're gonna know something's up. B. Let me reset this one. Let me reset this one. Actually, I don't like this one. B. Reset. Let me do something a little bit different, because I like the shape of these teeth a lot. So let's just utilize that. All right, so instead of doing two teeth or one tooth, we'll do two teeth that kind of make that tooth. So let's do a keyframe and let's see what it looks like. And then I've got to wrap up. So let's hide this. Let me bring that back for a second. Activate. Oh, the tongue is there. Okay. Deactivate, activate, deactivate. Let's bring it a little bit smaller so it's not in the way. Okay, I would keep the look of the front teeth, but just place some of the teeth further back to hide. Hang on, I don't understand what you're saying. 1 second. Let me bring these back. All right. Well, we're going to be doing a separate drawing for the teeth that are right here. So let me see. I would keep the look of the front teeth, but just place some of the teeth farther back to. I don't understand, which teeth are you hiding? These ones? Bring that mouth chart, but I'm gonna push it down. All right, so like how these teeth come up and touch the, what's going on there. Oh, it's this. Let's fix, there we go, that's better. For the E expression, is that this one right here? Okay. Instead of adding, just keep the teeth to the drawn model, but push the teeth that are further to the left and right side back. I don't understand the concept of back. So you want this one to be more like this? And this one more like this? Like that? This, but this tooth here on the left, you want this to hide? I don't think you need to hide this one. This is going to be the hard pose right here. Well, not really. We're going to push all those teeth in. Why don't we stick a pin on this? If anything, you might need to send me an image. You made the one tooth at the front in the so this tooth right here. So you want, okay, so the E expresses so that you want the tooth to the on the left and right to become hidden. Keep that tooth as one. I think I need a photo. I think I need an image, Brett. I don't know if the words are helping in this case, and you have to remember I am dyslexic, so sometimes the words come in and then they turn into spaghetti and then they're gone. All right, so you don't want these two teeth to be, I can't hide this tooth. There's no way for me to hide a tooth that's so central in the face with that much space around it. So I can't hide that tooth. That tooth has to be somewhere. And coming from here to here, do you see what I mean? Like these two teeth are not moving too much. They're changing shapes, but they're together, and then they'll be pushed more towards each other in this pose. Really, that's what's going to happen. We'll obviously make that look better next week, but see what I'm saying there? So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for me to just hide one tooth entirely. So that's our to be continued moment. That's our big, what is this tooth gonna do for next week? Oh, not next week. Yeah, the week after. So the following week. So I will, again, I'm gonna take next week off, or not next week, but next Tuesday, Twitch stream. We're gonna be busy. I'm gonna be busy flying. I'm gonna be on a plane, so I won't be able to Twitch. But we'll be back the following week, which will be the next Tuesday at 4 o'clock. It'll be 1 o'clock for my time. So on the 2nd, it'll be 1 o'clock where I am, 1 to 3. So yeah, I think that we'll be able to. I will if I have to put off the second week, then it'll be May 9th that we might come back. So we'll see. I am taking that is going to be my first vacation since the pandemic has started, really. So it's been about a year since I've taken time off. So I'm gonna take a couple days off. So if Tuesday doesn't work, the 2nd, then it'll be the following Tuesday. So yeah. We'll see you soon. But I hope that everybody has a nice rest of your week. And if anybody's watching this and coming to Taffy, please say hi. All right. So have a good one and good luck, Brett. And let me know if you are changing the design on that pose. It doesn't matter. You can. It's yours. Yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along. I can see the shapes. I can see the shapes happening. Maybe not in this pose. This one, I mean, I can see it, but it's still looking a little sloppy. So, and actually, I'm going to leave myself a note because it is. I am definitely going to forget what I'm doing on frame 12. So, frame 12, BTM jaw. To be finished, plus check with Brett to see designs, final designs. All right, sweet. All right, hope everybody has a rest of your week, and thank you very much. It was nice having you, Kaya. And Brett, we'll see you soon. Okay, bye.